Your car won't start. And before you call a tow truck, before you hand over $414 to a mechanic who's going to spend 11 minutes on your car and charge you for 3 hours, I need you to watch this. Because 9 times out of 10, the real reason your car won't start costs less than $2 to fix. And every single mechanic in America already knows this. They just don't get paid when you fix it yourself. Stop. Don't call anyone yet. I know the panic you're feeling right now. You're in a parking lot or your driveway. You turn the key or hit the button and nothing happens, or it clicks, or it cranks and never catches. Your stomach drops. Your mind immediately goes to the worst case. Blown engine, dead transmission, thousands of dollars. And that fear, that specific helpless feeling of not understanding what's wrong with your own car, is exactly what the automotive repair industry was built on. But here's what they never told you. Most no-start situations come down to one of 3 things. And 2 of those 3 things you can diagnose and fix yourself in your own driveway in under 30 minutes with items that cost between $0 and $3. The third, I'm going to tell you exactly what to look for so you know within 60 seconds whether you actually need a mechanic or whether you just got played. Stay with me, because I'm about to walk you through the exact process that retired fleet mechanics, military vehicle technicians, and old-school auto electricians have used for decades. The stuff that never makes it into a dealership service manual. The stuff that disappears when there's no profit in it. Let me tell you what's actually happening when your car refuses to start. Because most people, including a lot of people who think they know cars, don't understand the real sequence. And without understanding the sequence, you're just guessing. And guessing in front of a service advisor is how you end up with a $400 bill for something that needed a $5 fix. Your car needs 3 things to start: spark, fuel, and power. That's it. 3 things. Every single no-start situation in every car ever made comes down to one of those 3 being absent or insufficient. The question is always, which one? And the answer, if you know where to look, is usually visible within the first 60 seconds of investigation. But mechanics don't want it to be that simple. Simple doesn't generate revenue. Complicated does. Here's where it gets scary. The average American pays $400 to $600 for a no-start diagnosis and repair. And in a study of automotive service complaints, over 30% of no-start repairs were found to involve parts that didn't need to be replaced. 30%. That means almost 1 in 3 people who bring in a car that won't start pays for something that wasn't actually broken. Because when you don't know what to look for, you trust whoever's holding the diagnostic scanner. And that scanner, the one they plug in and then read you a code number like it's a medical diagnosis, that scanner does not tell them what to fix. It gives them a starting point. What happens next is interpretation. And interpretation is where the upselling begins. But wait, here's what most people never realize. Before any scanner, before any code, before any conversation with a service advisor, there are physical signs on your car right now that tell you exactly what's wrong. Signs that take 30 seconds to check. Signs that could save you from making the most expensive mistake most drivers make, paying for a full diagnosis when the problem is sitting right in front of you, visible with your eyes, fixable with your hands. I'm going to give you those signs in a moment, but first you need to understand why this knowledge got buried. The year is 1953, Birmingham, Alabama. A man named Curtis Webb is working as a lead auto electrician at one of the largest bus depots in the Southeast. Curtis is responsible for keeping an entire fleet of city buses running on a daily schedule. No excuses, no delays, no calling a specialist. When a bus doesn't start, Curtis fixes it himself, every time. And Curtis developed a diagnostic system, a physical, hands-on sequence of checks he could run in under 5 minutes on any vehicle that identified the cause of a no-start with shocking accuracy before he ever touched a single tool. Curtis taught this method to every technician who worked under him. He called it reading the car before you touch the car. He said that a car that won't start is talking to you. It's telling you exactly what's wrong, if you know the language. Curtis trained mechanics in Birmingham for 18 years. His trainees went on to work across the South, carrying his method with them. It was passed shop to shop like a trade secret, handshake knowledge, never written in a manual because writing it down meant sharing it, and sharing it meant any car owner could do what Curtis did. Your grandmother already knew this. She used it every single day. When the family car wouldn't start, she didn't panic and call a shop. She checked the obvious things first. She looked, she listened, she smelled, she used her senses before she used her wallet. Because her generation understood that machines communicate if you pay attention. We forgot that. We got comfortable handing problems to experts, and the experts got comfortable charging us for that comfort. They didn't hide this because it fails. They hid it because it works too well. This channel is about recovering knowledge that the industry buried because it threatened their revenue. The fixes that cost $2. The diagnostics you can do yourself. the tricks that mechanics use on their own cars, but never mention to customers. If you want to stop wasting money on industry lies, subscribe right now and hit the bell. What I'm about to give you in this video is going to change how you handle every car problem you face from this moment forward. Now, let me explain the science of what's happening when your car won't start, because this is the part that changes everything. At the molecular level, a car battery is a chemical reactor. Inside that black plastic case, lead plates are submerged in a sulfuric acid solution. When the battery is charged, chemical potential energy is stored in the relationship between those lead plates and that acid. When you turn the key, that chemical energy converts to electrical energy. Electrons flow from the battery through the cables to the starter motor, which spins the engine, which draws fuel into the cylinders, which ignites with the spark plug, which starts the combustion cycle. Every single step in that chain depends on electron flow, uninterrupted, sufficient, clean. Here's the critical word, clean. Because the number one cause of a no start that gets misdiagnosed as a dead battery or a failing starter is actually dirty, corroded, contaminated connections between the battery and the car's electrical system. At the molecular level, that white and blue-green crust you see on battery terminals is lead sulfate and copper oxide, materials that form when battery acid vapor meets the metal of your terminals and cable ends. And those materials are electrically resistive. They don't conduct electricity efficiently. So your battery might be perfectly healthy, fully charged, with months of life left in it. But if the terminal connections are coated in that crust, the electrons can't flow freely. The starter gets insufficient power. It clicks, or it cranks slowly, or nothing happens at all. And a mechanic puts a load tester on your battery. The battery shows low voltage because the connection is poor, and they tell you your battery is dead. New battery, $180 to $250 installed. Old battery pulled out and resold as a rebuilt core. And your actual problem, the corroded connection, is either cleaned as part of the installation or not cleaned at all, meaning the new battery starts corroding at the terminals within weeks. This happens every single day in every city in this country. The automotive battery replacement market generates over $8 billion annually in North America. $8 billion. And a significant portion of that is batteries that still had usable life in them, replaced because a corroded connection made them test weak. The connection costs nothing to clean, nothing. The battery costs $250. You tell me which outcome the shop prefers. And here's what makes this even more infuriating. Beyond the battery connection, the second most common no-start cause is a ground strap. A simple braided metal cable, usually less than 12 inches long, that connects your battery negative to your engine block and to your car's chassis. This strap costs $4 at any auto parts store. When it corrodes, loosens, or breaks, your entire electrical system behaves erratically. Cars won't start. Random warning lights appear. Power windows slow down. Radio cuts out. And mechanics run diagnostic scans chasing electrical ghosts, charge you for 2 hours of electrical diagnosis, when the real problem is a $4 strap that needs to be tightened or replaced. Every year you don't know how to check this yourself, you're vulnerable. Every time your car acts strange electrically and you bring it to a shop without checking the ground strap first, you are walking into that service center with a target on your back. Because the shop that finds a ground strap problem after charging you for 2 hours of diagnosis isn't going to refund the diagnostic fee. They're going to add the strap replacement on top of it. Most people never realize this until it's too late, until the bill is already signed, until the money is already gone. If you've made it this far, you already know more than 99% of car owners in America. And right now, I'm going to give you Curtis Webb's exact diagnostic sequence, updated for modern vehicles, so the next time your car doesn't start, you know exactly what to check before you call anyone. First thing, the moment your car won't start, before you do anything else, listen. Listen to what happens when you turn the key or press the button. The sound your car makes in that moment is diagnostic information. It is the car talking to you. Here's how to read it. If you hear a rapid clicking, click, 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 fast, almost like a machine gun, that is almost always a battery connection problem, not a dead battery. A completely dead battery makes no sound at all, or a single heavy click. Rapid clicking means the battery has some charge, but the connection is too resistive to deliver sustained current to the starter. Your fix is the terminal cleaning I'm about to describe. Do not buy a battery yet. If you hear a single heavy clunk and nothing else, that is typically the starter solenoid engaging, but the starter motor not spinning. Could be a failing starter. But check your battery connection first, and check that your shifter is fully in park. Not between park and reverse, fully seated in park. You'd be amazed how many tow truck calls are resolved by wiggling a shifter. If the engine cranks, you can hear it spinning over, but it won't catch and run. Your problem is fuel or spark, not electrical. Smell the air around your exhaust pipe after cranking for 5 seconds. If you smell fuel strongly, you may be flooded. especially on cold starts with older vehicles. If you smell nothing, no fuel at all, check your fuel pump fuse first before assuming the pump is dead. Now here is the fix for the most common cause, the terminal cleaning. You need baking soda, water, an old toothbrush, petroleum jelly, and a wrench that fits your terminal bolts, usually a 10 millimeter. Total cost, if you buy everything new, under $3. Pop your hood. Look at the battery terminals. Those are the two posts coming up from the top of the battery with cables attached. Look for white, blue, or greenish, crusty buildup around those connections. Even a small amount, even what looks like light dusting, is enough to cause the resistance problem I described. Don't underestimate what you're looking at. Mix 1 tablespoon of baking soda into half a cup of warm water. Stir until dissolved. Now loosen the negative cable clamp first, the one marked with a minus sign or the letters NEG, using your wrench. Then loosen the positive. Pull both cables off the posts carefully and fold them to the side where they won't accidentally contact the terminals. Pour your baking soda solution directly over both terminal posts and the inside of both cable clamps. Watch what happens immediately. You'll see it fizz and bubble, sometimes aggressively, as the alkaline solution neutralizes the acid-based corrosion. That fizzing is the chemical reaction breaking down the resistance layer in real time. Let it work for 60 seconds. Then scrub with a toothbrush. Get into every crevice of the cable clamp ends and around the base of the terminal posts. Rinse with clean water, dry with a cloth. Now, and this is the step most people skip, the step that makes this fix permanent instead of a 3-month patch. Apply a thin coat of plain petroleum jelly to the clean terminal posts before you reconnect the cables. Coat the post completely, then press the cable clamp down over the post and tighten. The jelly will squeeze out slightly around the edges. That's correct. That thin layer between the metal surfaces is creating an oxygen barrier. Acid vapor from the battery cannot reach metal, it cannot contact. Corrosion cannot form where oxygen cannot reach. This is permanently solving the problem that would have cost you a $250 battery replacement. Reconnect positive first this time, then negative. Tighten both firmly, not just snug, firmly. A loose clamp is almost as bad as a corroded one. Now try to start the car. In the vast majority of rapid clicking no-start situations, the car starts immediately. You'll hear the engine catch and the relief you feel in that moment, knowing you just saved hundreds of dollars in about 20 minutes. That feeling is something a mechanic cannot charge you for. Now the ground strap check. With the car off, trace your negative battery cable from the battery down toward the engine block. You'll find where it bolts to the engine. There's usually a bolt or nut holding a flat braided strap to the block. Check that the strap is physically intact. No broken strands, no visible corrosion at the bolt point. Then check that the bolt is tight. Use your wrench. If it turns at all it was loose, tighten it. Then trace for a second ground strap running from the battery or the engine to the car's chassis. The body of the car itself. Check that one the same way. Loose or corroded ground straps cause electrical behavior so erratic that it mimics dozens of different component failures simultaneously. Mechanics chase these symptoms for hours with a diagnostic scanner and never look at the strap because the scanner doesn't say, check your ground strap. It gives them a code, and codes mean parts, and parts mean money. Now here is the final thing, the one most people never hear. And this is the part I want you to remember and share. If your car cranks but won't start, and you've already confirmed it's not the battery connection, before you call anyone, before you spend $1, check one more thing. Find your fuse box. Every car has at least 2. One under the hood and one inside the cabin. Open the underhood fuse box and find the fuse labeled fuel pump, or FP. Pull it out. Look at it against the light. Inside that small plastic rectangle is a thin wire. If that wire is broken, you can see it clearly. There's a visible gap. The fuse is blown. Replacement cost, $1. $1. A blown fuel pump fuse kills your car as completely as a failed fuel pump that costs $600 to replace. And a mechanic who skips the fuse check, who goes straight to dropping the fuel tank and pulling the pump, will charge you for the pump whether the fuse was the actual problem or not. Check the fuse first. Always. Every time. No exceptions. This is the knowledge that Curtis Webb passed to his mechanics in Birmingham. This is what your grandmother understood about listening to machines before throwing money at them. This is what the automotive service industry built $400 billion a year on top of. You're not knowing these 3 checks. That ends today. Share this video with every car owner you know who has ever been handed a repair bill they didn't understand. Send it to the friend who just got quoted $400 for a no-start. Post it in every car group, every neighborhood forum, every family chat. Because every share keeps alive what the industry tried to erase. Leave a comment right now. Tell me what sound your car made when it wouldn't start. Tell me which fix worked. This community is the most informed group of car owners on the internet, and it's growing because of you. The next secret opens soon.